Han Shangyan drove Wu Bai to the school, wanting to pick Tong Nian back. At this time Zheng Hui and Tong Nian were walking on the road. Zheng Hui took out some gifts and presented them nervously to Tong Nian. But at this moment, Han Shangyan came over, and introduced Wu Bai on the side to Zheng Hui. When Zheng Hui saw Wu Bai, he was almost speechless immediately. It turned out that he had known Wu Bai for a long time. Wu Bai had won the championship of the international programming competition back then. This made Han Shangyan couldn't help but look at Wu Bai with admiration after hearing it. Han Shangyan took Tong Nian home. As soon as Grandpa Han saw Tong Nian, he was very happy. He also prepared a table of good food, hoping to celebrate her birthday properly. Grandpa Han told Tong Nian that he would return to Norway in a while, and he might not be able to return to China in the future. It's just that he once asked Tong's mother that he wanted to take Tong Nian to go abroad, but Tong's mother said that Tong Nian had symptoms of fear of flying and refused. After hearing this, Tong Nian told Grandpa Han that she was not afraid of flying. Maybe Tong's mother lied just to protect herself. When Grandpa Han heard this, he was immediately happy, because he no longer needed to worry about the venue of Tong Nian and Han Shangyan's wedding, because he hesitated whether their wedding should be held at home or abroad before. When Tong Nian heard this, she hesitated and said, "Why did Grandpa Han bring up the matter of marriage so soon?" But Grandpa Han said that all of this was normal. Han Shangyan on the side had a few words with Grandpa Han dissatisfiedly, but was reprimanded by Grandpa Han again, so he had to leave. Grandpa Han rebuked Han Shangyan dissatisfiedly, saying that Han Shangyan was too outrageous. He only played computer since he was a child, and he was not serious at all. But Tong Nian was not happy and she said that Grandpa Han was wrong. Han Shangyan had devoted a lot in the field of network security competitions for many years and made great contributions to the country. He was a very important talent. Hearing this, Grandpa Han couldn't help feeling emotional. He said with some guilt that he was just angry for a moment and didn't understand the difficulties of Han Shangyan. Seeing Grandpa Han's open-minded appearance, Tong Nian wondered why he always lost his temper with Han Shangyan. Grandpa Han said that he knew he was wrong, but every time he saw the appearance of Han Shangyan, he couldn't help but get angry. In addition, how could he not care about Han Shangyan's marriage? Han Shangyan stayed alone in the room, recalling the past, and couldn't help but feel heavy. On the other end, Grandpa Han went back to his room to have a rest, and rang a bell as a demonstration, saying that if something happened to him in the future, Tong Nian could use the same method to call for help. Tong Nian walked out of the room. Han Shangyan came to the door nervously after hearing the bell, but Tong Nian said that Grandpa Han was just demonstrating. Han Shangyan and Tong Nian came to the yard, and Han Shangyan muttered alone, telling all the resumes of his life. When Tong Nian heard that Han Shangyan actually told her all the detailed information about himself, she couldn't help but feel blissful in her heart, feeling that Han Shangyan was using this method to welcome her into his world. However, Han Shangyan said that his confession just now was nothing more than trying to make it clear that he was just a boring person, who only focused on work all day long and had no intention of falling in love at all. With such a self, does Tong Nian still want to date? Han Shangyan told Tong Nian that he could give her a certain amount of time to think about it, but Tong Nian didn't hesitate too much at all, and directly answered that she liked him very much and was willing to associate with him. Han Shangyan said, since this was the case, the two of them would keep in touch. At this moment, Nanwei and the others made a transoceanic call to Han Shangyan, wanting to have an audio conference with Han Shangyan in Norway. Soon Nanwei and the others quickly heard that there was a girl next to Han Shangyan on the phone, and they quickly started joking. In order not to disturb them, Tong Nian left alone. Nanwei and the others advised Han Shangyan not to put too much attention on the KK players, thinking that KK players might have no future, but Han Shangyan insisted on his direction and refused to let go. Because Han Shangyan refused, he had to come to Wu Bai to borrow money again. Wu Bai didn't want to lend it to him, but seeing Han Shangyan's appearance, he couldn't bear it anymore, so he had to take out another sum of money. Han Shangyan came to Tong Nian. Tong Nian was allergic to mangoes at this time, but she was afraid that Han Shangyan would know and pretended that she was bitten by a mosquito. Tong Nian and Han Shangyan came outside. Tong Nian gave him a model of a gun, because the English name of Han Shangyan means gun. Han Shangyan said that he wanted to work hard for the team, but Tong Nian advised him that he should not be too nervous and take the game too seriously. If possible, he should give himself more space to relax. Han Shangyan accompanied Tong Nian to the store and wanted to choose some computer accessories for her, but Tong Nian said that she already had a lot at home, so there was no need to choose again. Han Shangyan had no choice but to pick out for her, and soon he picked out a bunch of them. Han Shangyan sent 3 games to Tong Nian, telling him that there were 3 types of difficulty, and she could choose the type that suits her at any time when she went home to play. Han Shangyan drove Tong Nian back to school. In the car, Han Shangyan told Tong Nian that he was going to Sanya for training in a while, and he would not be able to contact her in the next few days. At the end of the chat, Han Shangyan asked again, did Tong Nian want a hug? After all, they too were trying to fall in love. When Tong Nian heard this, she also became embarrassed, not knowing what to do. She finally said no. Then, she suggested, maybe he could go and buy her some food. Han Shangyan got off the car, and soon bought her a lot of food. Tong Nian took it and left. Tong Nian was very happy when she returned to her dormitory. At this time, Yaya also came back. Looking at the piles of presents that Tong Nian brought back, she was pleasantly surprised. Maybe she made a new boyfriend again. Seeing a few games on Tong Nian's table, Yaya wanted to play them, but Tong Nian fought with her because she was reluctant.